Hey, so a thing about the truth is that the truth, a lot of people say I'm digging my own grave. I'm making things worse for myself, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing, okay? And this is how reality in general functions. When somebody's telling the truth, that means that they're not always going to necessarily look like the best. That's just how it works. If you have somebody who's lying to you, then they're only going to say things that typically make them look good or otherwise are so condescending and like it doesn't matter, okay? So like if I said I shot somebody, okay, I want to be like, guys, I shot somebody and I feel horrible about it. It's awful, you know, like that. I would do, that's how an honest person would do it, but a dishonest person would go, yeah, I shot somebody and use it against me, you know, like that. That's crazy because you're talking about an actual crime that's a legit federal crime and you're just saying, oh, big deal, federal crimes are no, you know, it's just weird. But what I wanted to talk about today is that a lot of people do say I'm digging my own grave. A lot of people do say that, you know, when you're just talking and talking and talking, you're just making things worse for yourself. But the problem is that this is a response to people preferring that I be silent. They prefer that I say nothing because then I can't give you an articulate and elaborate response to everything that's going on. I know this is weird and horrible for me to do, what I'm about to say, so brace yourselves. But someone tweeted at me that Billie has an OnlyFans and that she's selling pictures of herself. And I just want to say, good for her. That's good that she's doing that. And the reason it's good that she's doing that is because she's a full-blown adult and she has the right to do it, and there's nothing wrong with showing people your stuff, so long as they're adults. And I don't see how you could shame somebody for doing that. I don't see how you could act like someone's bad for doing that. I don't want anyone to act like Billie is bad for selling images of herself, because that's something that every woman and man should have a right to do so long as it's to other adults, which I think that's what Billie is doing with Ayala, actually. So you guys should know that she has a thing out there, and it's totally cool and totally fine, and nobody should feel even remotely grossed out or anything by that, because she has every right to. And as a person who is on their own, living their own life, if we're going to empower people and if we're going to be supportive of them, if we're going to be fair and balanced, we're not going to shame them and so forth. If we're going to be good people, we see that and we say, good for you, you know? And maybe she'll get, 10 more subscribers today just for me saying that or whatever. Go ahead. Go subscribe to Billie on OnlyFans. The one person out of everybody who didn't seem to be like on a mission, maybe, I mean, like Ayala's obviously on a mission. Sarah's obviously on a mission. Shiloh's obviously on a mission, but Billie, as I understand, didn't seem to be on a mission, but rather constantly encouraged by Ayala. But, friends only come along so often, like really good friends, people that you can be close to, people that you can trust and so forth, and she has that. She has Ayala. So, like, even though Ayala hates my freaking guts, I can see that Billie has a very good friend who's there for her and who made things complicated every step of the way for everything else, but is still there for her, and at least Billie has someone. Anyway, long story short, I just wanted to say that when you tell the truth, you're not going to constantly paint yourself in the light of a victim or of anything else. Like, I'm not going to constantly act like I'm a hero. I'm not going to constantly act like I'm a victim. I am a human being, and I have these flaws, and I'm messed up in numerous ways, and that's how human beings are. But I also have qualities, and I also have done things in many ways right. So, like, making videos saying exactly what happened, it's really hard to look at that and say, damn this guy, how dare he? And I just want to close with this. If Sarah really did get a lawyer, I don't get it. Because all she would need to do is make a response video. All she would need to do is say, I'm Sarah and this is what really happened. If you notice, she's never actually just made an outright video explaining her story without the influence of others pushing her to say more and more things that aren't even true. If she just made a response video or whatever and talked about the issue rather than running to a lawyer and trying to silence me, that would probably be better for her. In the sense that you are willing to face the public and all their criticism and tell things like they are. So that's my encouragement to them, is to speak about their experience, and people can look at your statements and find the holes if they want to. A lot of people won't, because they naturally believe in you. They want to believe the person who says they're a victim rather than the person that they've hated for years before any of this even became a topic. The bias is obvious, but what I'm saying is this current strategy of going to a lawyer rather than just talking things out, if you are in fact innocent, you could probably just talk to the public. You could probably just talk things out. Some people who are victims of actual crimes don't want to talk to the public. Unfortunately, we're beyond that, because she already talked to the public for about 6 months straight, being horrible and attacking and slanderous and running a smear campaign. Now, also, I would encourage Sarah to come forward about the crime that she said she went through to me privately, involving this, what she described as a black man. That would be very empowering if she actually came forward about being an actual victim of an actual person, and instead of going after only someone because they're famous or because they're well known. And I was an enemy of people before this came out, so the fact that people just jumped on it was no surprise. And I gotta say, you guys, like, when you have a thing like the Salem witch trials or whatever, those witches could not, look at me, even I'm calling them witches, those women could not say anything to those people that would convince them they're not witches. And that's why they call it a witch hunt, because people have already made up their minds. There's no seeing through their prejudices and their discrimination and so forth of these people. They've made up their minds, and there's no getting through to them. It's like talking to cavemen. It's just, rock? No, quantum physics. Rock? No, quantum physics. Rock? Like, brain dead, right? And so a lot of people who are observing me, they see me as this witch. And I'm saying I'm not a witch. I'm just a regular person who hung out with very, very the wrong people, okay? If I could go back, I would have never interacted with Shiloh. I would have never interacted with Sarah. I may have still interacted with Billy, because people say, you're still in love with Billy. And if you're a human being, okay, if you're a human being and you actually feel love for somebody, like real deep love, no matter what they do to you, no matter how horrible they are to you, no matter what they say about you, all these things, it's really hard to kill a deep-rooted love, okay? And you could say it's because I thought she was so beautiful, or you could say it's because we connected on such a level and we had so many special moments together, or something like that. Whatever, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't have feelings. Do I love Sarah? Not really, no. I don't love Sarah because she was lying to me about who she was the entire time. Do I love Shiloh? Absolutely not. She was lying to me about the entire time about who she was. Billy said we might be soulmates at one point, right in front of Viola in the car we were driving down the road. It was on, I think it was on autopilot. She's trying to convince me that we're soulmates, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, because I've heard it before. I've heard people say I'm soulmates with them before, and I just didn't believe it, because Shiloh told me we're soulmates too, and I was just like, why do you think we're soulmates? And what about Kai in this situation? Think about Kai. But no, like, I don't have hatred for Billy. I have frustration towards Sarah and Shiloh for being so insanely dishonest when they were with me about who they are in such a deep way. Like, we're talking about their entire personalities were fake. Billy would just lie about doing illegal drugs. But Sarah and Shiloh would actually lie about their entire identities. Like, their entire personalities were just a big lie. And this is true from Sarah, because Sarah was saying that she was actually plotting the whole time. She confessed it on a live stream. She says that she was actually like keeping a little spy book, the whole time. And yet she says the first time we actually did something that was even remotely sexual was when she was 18. So you're sitting here going, you had a spy book for 2 years and that's what you came up with? So even though she was plotting the whole time against us, i.e. pretending to be someone else entirely in front of us, secretly trying to destroy our lives the whole time, which explains why she would say, I'm only going to sign this non-disclosure agreement if you sleep with me. That blackmail, that thing is just like this. There's an evil there. There's a serious evil. It's also sexual extortion, and by Washington State, it's super illegal. You go to jail or whatever for that. So there's a lot of things that Sarah did that were not representative of her actual personality whatsoever. She was not showing us her true form, and that's what makes me say I don't think I love that person, because I don't know who that person is. Same with Shiloh. But you have Billy, who I am still, I still have remnants of feelings for, even though she thinks I'm a joke and she generally hates me. If you care about somebody and you knew them. I felt like I actually got to know Billy. Like I actually got to interact with her and we hung out. We had genuine moments that were wonderful. So when you have that, it's really hard to suddenly hate it unless you find out that was all a lie. And to this point, I don't know if Billy was lying to me the whole time about being interested in me or not or whatever, but if she was lying about being interested in me, that is heartbreaking. That is sad. But that's just life. Anyway, so yes, these videos might not make me look great, but the truth doesn't really make any of us look 100% great ever. We all have our flaws. Like for instance, you could be a regular person walking down the street, just being chill and all that stuff, and then you go to the bathroom, right? Some of you just pushed out animal carcasses, okay? There's no perfection to our lives. Everyone's poop stinks, you know what I mean? And we all have, you know, bodies in our past. Another thing that, I'm talking about animal bodies, like animal bodies, non-human, and nobody killed anybody here, okay? Although you guys did say I killed Sarah and then Sarah answered the door when the cop showed up. That was crazy. Anyway, but as I said, we're all imperfect beings, and it would be nice if you guys would try to watch a human being and not just somebody that you think is a witch, because you're not gonna do anything productive watching a witch. You'll do a lot more productive things watching a person just like you. Stop laughing.